Good evening, good morning, and good night. Welcome to Inappropriate Radio. It's your host, Tashana. Let's get into this. So, hi guys, welcome. This evening, we are not going to be talking about aliens or the periodic table. However, the creator has a message for us. Now, this message is from that cluster of messages that I had got about a week or so ago. Initially, I wanted to go over isolation and how important it is to be by yourself physically and to be able to tap in to the presence of the creator no matter what vibration we're currently operating on, right? Especially if he's inviting us and allowing us to seek him, right? Because not everybody has that relationship with God where they could just be like, oh yeah. You gradually get there. There's levels to this, right? Of course, the creator is always available for you to be there, for him to always be able to assist you. But being able to feel his presence and tap into him is something different, okay? We're going to be talking about Goosebumps. I know. It's crazy because I had got the download maybe 2 days ago. And then today I was looking at something and then I was reminded, okay? So, Goosebumps, they have several medical terms. Horripilation, piloerection, pilomotor reflex, Curtis and Serena. Okay, these are just a few terms that describe what is going on, right? So this is basically an instance where your brain sends a message to your sympathetic nervous system, causing the muscles at the base of the hair follicles to contract, okay? And this is how it physically appears up. It's a release of dopamine and some other hormones, endorphins and things like that, okay? It's a physiological response that other animals get as well, but not everyone can get goosebumps, okay? So there is actually several research theories, stories, articles that you can look up that actually covered goosebumps. I thought that was interesting that so many different research attempts have been made to find out exactly what goosebumps are. So only about 55% of the human population can actually get goosebumps. That's crazy. I thought that we all experienced that, right? I thought that was interesting. But one of these studies that I came across, it really opened me up. Now, of course, we have the physical aspect of it, right? Goosebumps overall, whether it is from touch, whether it's from fear, whether you're cold, they're all basically related to some sort of response, right? You get the goosebumps when you're cold because it's your brain's way of telling your body it needs to warm up. We get our desires aroused, okay? So this is another type of energy: arousal, excitement, fear, being cold, okay? So along with these hormones, endorphins, and dopamine, adrenaline is also a part of that group of hormones that are ignited when we get goosebumps. So there's also an auditory component connected to this, okay? Especially when listening to music. So just the overall getting the goosebumps is one thing, but then of course you can break it down a scientific reason why goosebumps are even occurring. Okay, this study that I came across, it really, really changed my perspective on a lot of different things. So, apparently, there's a study called Brain Connectivity Reflex Human Aesthetic Response to Music. Okay, you can go on Oxford University's website for their published articles by their students, and you can find it there. Okay, like the whole thing. So, people who get goosebumps are actually able to communicate better with other people that get goosebumps. So if you're spiritual in any kind of way, then you already know what that sounds like. So I'll read a piece of it, okay? The study suggests that the denser fiber in the brain means that the auditory and emotion processing areas of the brain of those who get chills are better able to communicate with each other. Thus, the stronger reaction they have to what is called music stimuli. Okay? Those who get the chills have a higher tendency to experience more intense emotions than those people who do not feel anything while listening to music. The idea is that more fibers and increased efficiency between two regions mean that you have more efficient processing between them. Now, I don't know about anybody else, but to me that sounds like some real empath activity, okay? Real psychic like activity, okay? So if you are one of those people who get goosebumps when you are listening to music, when you are inspired, especially, I wasn't really guided to look at about the goosebumps when we're cold because that's obvious, right? I wasn't really looking at the whole fear and excited thing. I think the creator wanted me to more so focus on things that really don't have an explanation as far as these goosebumps are concerned, because he had me like digging and putting in some crazy questions on Google. I don't really feel like all of this stuff needs to be like covered, because obviously you can just pop the question into your own Google search engine and do your own research. But I just wanted to highlight the spiritual component of goosebumps, okay? Because of course we know some people state that, you know, when they feel certain presence, they also get goosebumps. So we know that there's an auditory emotional response happening. So your body is hearing something and you are internalizing it and break it down, and you're emotionally reacting to it, right? So your brain is giving your body a sign that, hey, something's going on. Some sort of change is going on. It's sort of an alert. So whether it's because you're cold, scared, excited, you're coming into contact with someone who is sexually arousing you or that you are physically attracted to, this is a response. I don't know who had goosebumps or why the creator wanted me to like go over this, but this was something he told me to look into and go over on the podcast. So I don't know, like, this is okay. Remember, this is an emotional response. These goosebumps are indicators that you possess emotional sensitivity. Okay, so don't be thrown off. I also, like, as I started doing some research, a lot of things came to me, and it's dawned on me that since only 55 people have the ability to get goosebumps when they are internalizing some sort of musical stimuli, that leaves 45% or an average, right, of 45% of people who may be lacking the ability to empathize, or they're not using their spiritual gifts, or they're not tapped into them, or they're blocked off or some kind of way. And it's so crazy because I was just thinking about it, and then as I was scrolling, it popped up. Do psychopaths or sociopaths get goosebumps? Yes, they can. However, the triggers are different. And I know it's weird. It's like, how do you even know that? There are literally studies, research studies for almost any question you may be able to ask, especially if people who have access to certain resources like money to conduct longitudinal studies, or maybe they have the space like a laboratory, or they have the people, to be able to conduct such research. So bear in mind that a lot of us who are connected into this higher level of consciousness, remember we talked about that, we have similar thoughts. We have the same thoughts. Sometimes we have the same dreams. You don't have to necessarily physically know these people, but in the spirit realm, you guys share a community. There's a network of people that share this consciousness. And just because someone is a scientist or a doctor or a philosopher or a spiritualist or, an astronomer or a lawyer, even, it doesn't remove their God-given connections, right, in the spirit world. It doesn't mean that they are less spiritual because they have this, physical career or this physical responsibility for their, ways of making money. We've talked about that as well. So it's really important to be able to understand that, and this highlights it. The fact that 55% of people can communicate with other people better, like there's an increased chance that they can communicate with each other better, is a sign that that empathetic community or that psychic community they're connected, and there are physical ways of being able to prove that, right? Like outside of what we presume in the spiritual, aspect of ourselves. So before we go, I'm going to encourage you all to do research on things that may connect you to other people in, the spiritual realms, that will allow you to be in a space where you can understand people who are just like you, because sometimes we can identify, right? And it would be a little easier for us to understand. But really be able to look at them and understand their gifts, okay? Like beyond the flesh. Being able to look at them and understand what their role may be in the spiritual realm. And this will also make it easier for you to look at people who are not a part of the spiritual community, at least those in the upright, right? Those who are of the light and doing good deeds with their gifts. It'll make you understand them better. And it will also allow you to look at people who are not in these organizations, and really get a handle, or a hold rather, on what is driving them. Okay? And beyond your spiritual understanding of it, right? Being able to look at the physical parts of them that may separate them from the spiritual communities that are enlightening and uplifting and empowering. Alright, but yeah, do some research on this. I thought this was pretty cool. I don't know why the creator had me look into that, but hey, I'm just trying to be obedient here, okay? But I'm going to end it here. I do love y'all. I hope y'all have been drinking your water, eating your fruit and vegetables, and sipping on your own tea, because it is most definitely free. Alright, and I'm out of here. Love y'all. Peace.